How are you
Oh,
doing?
good, good, good. Just here in my studio, painting away. Put on my glasses so I can. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I
no, you
am,
have to put yours on, but I'm kind of dead without them.
I am still expecting my eyeball jacket. I'm just saying it would look really cool, be really awesome. You are so amazing. I love your hyper surrealism, everything that you've been
Thank
working
you.
on. So I just want to start by saying that. I think one of my favorite pieces, though, can you guess?
Um, God, I think you told me, but I don't remember. I don't
The
recall.
Joker. The
Joker, Freak.
Joker. Oh
Yeah, Freak.
my
Yeah,
God. It's
yeah.
like screaming at you in the page. You could feel all these emotions through the paint strokes, everything. And that's a very inspired piece. I love that one. So I think it would be really fun for you to just say hi to the audience and
Hello,
where you
everybody.
started.
It's good to be here. Good to be here on Lillee Jean Talks Live. And Lillee Jean, thank you for having me. You're all
Yes,
the way to the East
Aaron.
Coast, and I'm hollering here from Sin City, Las Vegas.
Ooh, very
Yeah.
cool. So how did you get started in this? Because obviously, I mean, if anybody has not seen your artwork, they're crazy. Okay, I'm deeming them crazy. Your stuff is insanely amazing. And I just need to know, how did an Aaron start out?
Well, since I was a kid, like a lot of artists who, you find the passion early, but I didn't realize I had this gift until I was around 8 years old, and drawing comic books and drawing off the TV, cartoons, and
What
just
comic books?
comic books. Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man
I
Love.
went through
Okay.
phases. Yeah, I went through phases of when I was a kid drawing Hot Wheels cars, and then I think it
Oh,
was
cool.
then it was comics, Spider-Man, and then I think it was Conan the Barbarian. That I was drawing martial arts like movie posters. I always loved to do martial arts movie posters since I was little, and I used to redraw the ads from the newspapers. I remember
Oh,
walking
wow.
into a movie theater lobby and seeing a one sheet hand painted poster of Bruce Lee's movie Enter the Dragon, and it sort of changed my life in a way because I just looked at that and said, "That's what I want to do." When I grow up, I said, "That's what I want to do. I want to paint movies, paint movie posters," and I would just cut out the movie ads that I would see in the newspaper. And this was the '70s. It was a lot of horror and action movies, which I loved, and so I would just, but there were these little, they were about the size of a playing card, this little poster, and it was all in halftone. So I just had to kind of put my own spin on it, and
That's
I just
awesome.
did it every day, yeah, it was no one else was doing that, like other classmates of mine, but I was the only one that was really into art amongst all my friends, and yeah, that's how it started, and just sort of ran with it. Yeah.
Now, I did see that you designed for like Ralph Lauren and stuff. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because that's pretty cool, Aaron. I mean,
Yeah, I
honestly.
fell into that. I was after college, living at my parents, looking for a job, and back in the day, you answered an ad. It was, of course, no internet. This is the like late '80s, and so I answered this ad in the New York Times. They were looking for an illustrator for this well-known fashion company. They didn't say the name, and so I said, okay. And you could just call to get the interview. It wasn't, sending a resume. You called, and and I called them, and they answered the phone. Hello, Polo Ralph Lauren, and I was like, oh,
You were like, oh my God, I hit it. I
oh,
totally hit
okay,
it. Oh my
cool.
God, that must have
And
been amazing for you.
yeah, it was, and so they said, oh well, we need you to draw, bring in your portfolio and draw any ad with the model wearing Ralph Lauren clothes, wearing Paul Ralph Lauren clothes, menswear. So I ran out, I got a GQ magazine, flipped through it, and I found this model wearing this, this ensemble, and I did in like 2 days because my interview was it was like in a day or so. So I did like really fast, and I brought it in with my portfolio. And, I'm walking through New York, I got this huge portfolio case, with my original pieces in it, no book, I'm just, so I'm walking because I was afraid to take the subway. I didn't know, I didn't want to get lost and end up in the Bronx, end up at Coney Island or something like that and run into the Warriors. So I just, I walked from Penn Station to 55th Street.
Okay.
And I'm out of college, so I really don't have any money. So I have the only suit I had was a white suit. It was a white, like Miami Vice suit. That was the only suit I had. And
did you feel cool in it though? Did you feel cool?
It was. This was the thing. This was February. I think it was January, February. So I had a white suit. Yeah, but it was unseasonably warm that day. But I remember just walking. I'm in this white suit, this big, huge, like 30 by 40 black portfolio case, lugging this along. And I get there and I showed them my work, and they really liked it. And it was a drawing I did that I still own of the Terminator, of Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was a Terminator. It wasn't even finished yet. And I said, I want to bring that. And they came out, and the art director, looked at my work, and she started calling people out of their office saying, come look at this guy's, come check this guy's work out. And I had a few people around. They're like, "Wow, that's some good detail and stuff." And so,
how did you feel in that moment where people were like looking at your work and you're like in this white suit?
It was like, I'm in this, this. It was a small office on 55th between 5th and 6th. It was really an old apartment building that they converted into, just a corporate headquarters. So yeah. And they said, okay, well, we have more people to interview. We'll let you know. And then they called me back few days later and asked me to come in and freelance, and I was there for about a week, and they hired me. And then it was like a couple of weeks later, I was taking some sketches in for a meeting. Ralph Lauren's brother, Jerry Lauren, was my boss. And so I go into Jerry's office, and there's Ralph Lauren sitting there, and he says, Ralph, this is Aaron, have you met my brother Ralph? This is our newest member of the art department, Aaron. He's been men's design. Awesome. And I walk over and I shake his hand, Mr. Lauren, it's a pleasure. And he says, hello, Aaron, welcome. And I just remember walking back to my desk saying to myself, like, wow, I just met Ralph Lauren.
Yeah, it's like a moment.
And I'm in my 20s, and it was pretty cool. it was pretty surreal. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, from that moment oh my God, that's my cat. I'm so sorry. I have two cats. Okay. Oh, one is Theodore, and he's only 1 year old. So he's still chasing his tail. He's in that phase. Apologies. Definitely from the Ralph Lauren era of your life. Is there any favorite sort of ad you did or piece that like you just love? Because I see behind you have displayed some of your stuff, which is really cool.
Well, our art department consisted of about, when I got there, it was like our department was only about 4 of us, including the art director. And then the company grew, and then we relocated to a bigger location on 650 Madison Avenue, where the Copacabana used to be. In fact, that scene in Goodfellas where he takes her out to Copacabana, that was our building there. Like,
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, but I did hundreds.
Most favorite that sticks out in your mind when anybody says
that's a good question, because no one's ever asked me that question.
What?
Oh man,
how is that possible?
There was I think it was as far back as I can remember, there was a suede, it was like a suede jacket, and I did it, because we used magic marker and colored pencil. We had to do it really fast. It was a process. Yeah. Wow. And I remember it coming out really cool. And we put it on the boards, presentation boards, and design team would come in and take it in. They say, yeah, we have a Ralph meeting. Ralph would come in about once a week, maybe once every other week. And I just remember it looking so cool. And I was like, oh, I hope they use that. I hope they, and then they didn't use it, because sometimes they'll come back and we're doing prototypes and they're like, yes, Ralph comes in, we come in and go, yes, no, yeah, maybe revise that, so on. And so and the shoes, there was a lot of cool men's shoes that I did that I really dug. And I actually thought about getting into that because his shoes, though his shoes were very preppy, I would draw them out and say, oh, this will look better if it didn't have this tassel, or this will look cool if it didn't have
Cool.
and stuff, you know. And yeah, so it was, but shoes, the shoe season was like just the craziest because we would be there till like midnight, sometimes 1 in the morning.
Oh, whoa.
And, this was it. It was a salary job. There was no overtime. And it was, you know, some nights we're like, you know, we get beer and we're like, you know, we're drinking, but well, I mean, we're getting the work done, you know. But it was a cool experience because our art department grew as we relocated to 650 Madison Avenue. We were #1 in the country, and we had the best of the best in our department because everyone, I was into movie art. I had a coworker who did comic book art. There was another coworker who drew like nature art. And there was another coworker who I'm in touch with a few of them. We became like family, you know, over the years, being at a job for so long, you know, of course, become family. And Laura Freeman, and she always did children's books, illustrations, and she's doing great. She's getting awards. She's got her own children's book line.
Yeah,
so
I've heard her name before, so I was like,
Yeah, we were really the best of the best. It was a cool time. The 80s and 90s. I mean, it was in New York, and you know, the economy was great. Everyone was working. It was corporate America. It was, you know, of course, no social media, but it was like in the movie. I'm always calling movie Goodfellas. It was a glorious time.
Well, okay, I personally love shoes. I think they're my most favorite fashion item. So the fact that you were
You're the
thinking,
only woman in the world, right?
yeah, but the fact that you were thinking of like, oh, maybe a tassel there, maybe, you know, something there, like that's really intriguing to me and very fascinating and awesome. I hope it's not intruding, but do you have your own fashion line? Because the thought that you're like displaying here is insane.
I had thought about that, but that was just I always wanted to. Movies were my love, movie posters and movie art. That was my passion. And that was the thing about when I was working at Ralph Lauren. Everyone had their own art on the side that they were doing, that they were pursuing.
I understand.
And some more so than others, but like people would say, well, how can you draw all day? And I would go home at night and then make dinner and I go right into my studio and I would paint. And they would say, how could, where do you, I said, well, it was the passion. And so during that time, I came out with my sort of own custom hand-painted artwear on the back of jackets. In the 90s, the people were wearing these painted jackets, the denim jackets with the studs on them. It would say New York, or it would say Chicago, or have the New York skyline, or it would say Hollywood, and it was all these studs and glitter. It was, and one of my coworkers came in and with a painted jacket that he did. And I said, well, how did you do that? And he says, oh, I just, primed the jacket and just, yeah. So, cool. So I said, I'm going to paint one. So I did this one of Clint Eastwood from the movie Dirty Harry.
I think I saw that one. You have it on your
very first one.
Incredible.
I did that in 1989. I still have the jacket. Still have it in my closet.
Wait, can we see it? Can we get you to maybe
yeah,
show
I'll have to
one?
go get it. I have to go
get it. Oh my
it.
God, that'd be so cool.
Can you, okay. Can you,
yes, Aaron, get your butt up. I need to see. Oh my goodness, yes.
All right, hold on.
You're like, Lillee, what even?
Okay, if I'd known that, I would have had it out, but it's cool. Okay.
Okay, I'm excited. Wow.
As I say in the showbiz, and we're back. Yeah, it's a Ralph Lauren jacket. And I didn't put the 44 Magnum logo on the little,
the details are incredible.
Now that's just the front. Wait, now here is the back.
Aaron, it's like he's like coming at you.
Look at that, just come right.
Oh my God! When you paint it, like, how do you do that?
Now this
That's
was
insane.
a challenge because I flipped through this book and found this picture in the film of Clint Eastwood. It was a book on Barnes and Nobles. And I just opened the page and this was there. I said, oh, that's it.
Okay. Honestly.
And it was in black and white. So I was going to do it in black and white. A friend of mine said, "No, do it in color, man. It will really pop." So I went to this book, this movie photo store I used to go in New York called Jerry Olinger's, and the poster for the movie Sudden Impact is this same image, but it was in color. And they just, you know, sort of well, there was no Photoshop back then, but they just sort of redesigned it. And so they had an 8x10 of that, and I took that, and I took the photo from the Clint Eastwood book, and I set them side by side, like right here, and I combined both, just both. This was done in
the bottom. Oh,
1989. There's the date.
What about the little detail at the bottom? There's like a little tag, the red. Oh, that's awesome.
That was my old logo that I made.
It's like a little robot. That's so cute.
That's like, yeah, if you look, it's supposed to be like, you know, shades, and there's the jacket collar.
Aaron,
and
that's awesome.
It's a Photograph Lauren label. I just painted over.
A little embroidery.
That was my logo. I used to wear T-shirts and that. Yeah, that's my signature from 1989. Yeah.
Oh,
wow. I don't know if it's jacket, but yeah.
Take my breath away. Don't kill me. Oh my God. Whoa. That's so cool. Okay. What goes into like making one of these fine art, you know, jackets? Like you get a jacket, you make a jacket.
Fine. Just a lot of.
Like, how do you mix? What do you use? What the?
Well, that I use fabric.
I have a panic attack. Oh God. I love to draw. I love to digitally.
Thank you.
No, Aaron, I'd have a panic attack, honestly.
No, I don't have a panic attack now. No, that one I did in fabric paint, which is basically, it's like a thinner acrylic. But now they have like, and now I did some jackets on leather. But for those, I used oil paint, because back then they didn't have, now they have leather paint that you can, it's for leather jackets. So, you know, this is a process I just had to figure out on my own. And I'm like, okay, this, you know, is it going to get ruined in the rain? And I knew it wasn't, because it was flexible, and I would coat it with a protective coating, like acrylic coating, and be careful where I sit, because it wasn't like I just threw this jacket on. I mean, it's a work of art. I make it and I hang it up like a work of art. And so yeah, people were stopping me on the street, in the subway, like, "Cool jacket, where'd you get that?" So I made it. Like, "You made it? What?" And I mean, traffic literally pulling over. I mean, a cab pull over, and this guy's like, "Where did you get that?" And I said, "I made it." "What?" And then I said, "Wow, I'm turning this into a business." So I made these business cards. So anyone that would ask me, I'd say, here, I make you one. This is what I do.
I'm cool. And, it is cool though.
Yeah. And there's a jacket I did of the R&B group in Vogue. They were huge in the 90s. And they wore the jacket. Well, the keyboard artists wore the jacket on Saturday Night Live, and I still have it on VHS. And like, it's I forgot who was hosting, and they said, "Ladies and gentlemen, in Vogue." And the opening shot, they're all standing there, and right behind Cindy, the lead singer, the keyboard artist is standing with my jacket with the back, so you can see it on camera.
You must have felt like so.
Yeah, I was home watching. I'm like, "Oh my God, my jacket made it to SNL." It was that was in the 90s. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, to think about how much that goes into this, it's such a unique thing you do. I'm like, oh my God. Now, you have a documentary, yes?
Yeah, it's still being worked on. I've been working on this documentary for.
Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's called Impossible Art, and it's directed by Philip Wayne Stevens, brilliant director. I mean, director, editor, composer, musician, just really, really talented filmmaker. And I met him years ago in Los Angeles at a rap party he had at his home for a film that he just worked on. And he's, that old Hollywood question, "What do you do?" And I said, "Well, I paint the movies." And he didn't get it. He's like, "What do you mean?" And so I showed him my website. I tell him my story, a little bit about me and how I got to LA. And he's like, "I got to do a movie about you, man." I'm like, "Really?" He goes, "No, really, people need to hear your story. This is incredible." I said, "Okay, let's do it." And so we've been shooting over the years. I mean, doing guerrilla filmmaking. We did some, we shot downtown LA in this theater, and the guy, we didn't get kicked out, but the security guy says, "Hey, you can't do that." And he was, and Phil was like, don't worry, we got the footage. We're good. And yeah, it's basically about my journey from drawing as a child to, drawing, painting movies, and college, Ralph Lauren, my journey, the ups and downs, and we have animation. It's going to be it's
awesome.
Going to be heartfelt, funny, all that they're just about my journey. And there's an end game. There's a really cool end game. I can't say everything, but it's not going to be like a fluff piece or anything.
I'm very excited. I mean, I'm working on my own documentary, Project Bullyish, about online stalking, which I have endured. Okay. So when I saw that on your website, and I saw in the IMDb description, it says that people thought your thing was like a photograph and they disqualified you. I was like, I feel a little bit of a connection with you on this, because it's like people like they want to see the worst in you, but you are so like triumphant on how you kept going with everything you've done. It's really a beautiful story.
Yeah, now, I mean, everyone has a story to tell, and it's not through rose-tinted glass.
No, not at all.
Light. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What would be your number one tip for any young artist, serious artists who want to design for fashion designers, have their own labels, want to do movie posters? What would you say?
I have a motto: create who you are, create what you are, and don't apologize for it. Do you? It's really, and especially now, it's like, yeah, but you got to earn a living as an artist, and you sometimes you do have to create what the market wants, or what keep your ear to the street on what can earn you a living, but try to find that balance. But I always believe, I mean, I went through a phase where I was painting what the market was booming at, and I was, I created some really cool stuff, but it just wasn't who I was. I was like, I'm like, this isn't. Someone would look at, I did a show one time, it was a group show years ago back on the East Coast, and I'll never forget, this person said, "Oh, this is your work," and it was like, some of my fine art and, some of my movie art, like more fine art, because I had to keep with what the sort of theme of the show was. And he looked at one of my pieces, the fine art piece I did. He goes, "Yeah, that's a nice one." Then he looked at I think it was my Terminator. He says, "That one is good, but that one is great. That Terminator, I can tell you really love doing that." Like
an
that
artist's fingerprint.
Yeah, he was like, that is, that's good. Like, I could tell you did good at that, but that Terminator, you really put your heart and soul in that. And I never forgot that. It's sometimes it's the littlest thing a patron or a fan or an admirer or someone will come along and do, and it stays with you. I was like, and I remember I was like, not struggling to fit into this genre, but just, but in my heart, I'm like, no, I know movies. I know I can quote movies word for word. I'm happy when I paint down. This is who I am. This is who, and it runs in my family. I mean, I have a brother who was in Point Break. I have another brother who was in Some Kind of Wonderful. I have a sister who's a drummer for Boss Hogg, who was in the movie Jill's Apartment, MTV. My parents produced a movie with Tippi Hedren and Charles Callahan from The Thing. They're producers, they're directors, and so it's in my blood. It's in my blood, and so it's like, this is what I do. So I know I kind of went around, but
no, it's fine.
It's just create who you are. Break the rules. Don't apologize for it. It's not everyone is going to get your work. Now people are like, well, I'm not really into that kind of, I like this. I'm like, okay, cool. You can't please everybody, but just go push the envelope.
I think that is so important. We only have, one chance in life, unless you're a cat or whatever, or a vampire, who knows? And, you have to make the best of it, right? And, sometimes I find myself when I look at some people's art and I'm like, where is them in it? And I think that is something that I've noticed as a trend. There's a soul missing from some art of today that, you see more back then. So I think that's really important to develop your own style, because when somebody looks at your piece, you want them to say, like, that's Aaron Kai. That's his artwork. That's it. Yeah,
all artists want that instant.
Yeah, that fingerprint, that artist fingerprint. So is there anything coming up that you could share?
Yeah, there's
Yeah. Okay.
right now I'm just juggling art. I created two paintings of the Matrix.
Oh,
I can't really
the
say
new one.
more about that because I have an agent who's kind of working on some things. I
Oh.
really can't share those pieces yet.
Okay.
They came out beautiful, and I'm working what I got coming down the pipe. I'm doing. I mean, they're sitting around my studio now. Over in the corner, I'm doing this huge painting of Alan Rickman from Die Hard.
Oh, cool.
And I'm also doing a Gary Oldman portrait, a commission for a special collector of mine in California. And I'm also finishing a Psycho Hitchcock Psycho that I'll be releasing
Awesome.
in around Halloween. And that's a black and white. That's in pencil. I haven't done pencil in a long time.
Oh,
That's
wow.
looking
That's
at.
so cool.
And doing what else? A Wonder Woman.
Oh, yay. Oh, I'm excited for that. Whoa, back up, back up, back up. What can you say about the Wonder Woman?
Well, I need to do some more female, female images, just female heroes, and definitely, yeah. I want to do some more females. Like I haven't thought about doing like Atomic Blonde, like just some badass female action.
She-Hulk.
I'm sorry.
She-Hulk. That'd be so awesome.
Hulk, yeah. I was not really into Hulk, but I'll let my agent
She's
know.
really cool though. You should check her out. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What else? Yes, I have a couple films coming out that I do acting, and there's a film coming out called Vampires on a Boat that will be releasing, I believe, this summer or this fall. It's directed by Mark Michaels, and it takes place on this huge ship, and I get bitten, but I don't want to say what, well, not bitten, but I'm not gonna say, but I'm in a really cool scene. And and there's another film coming out called The Lincoln, where I play a villain, which I love. We're more of a bad guy. I rob a bank, and it's sort of my John Wick role, and and it's that I'm not sure it's in the editing stage now, but it's produced by Jennifer Blanc and Michael Bean, Blanc Bean Productions, and I've done some work with them, and I've seen the rough cut. It's really cool.
Okay, Aaron, I can't see you as a bad guy. Can I get like one line of bad guy Aaron? Because honestly, you're so nice.
Well, that's when you meet these villains off camera, they're the nicest guys. It's acting. It's a mask, I think, okay, there's one part I go, that was very stupid. There's no
I feel like Terminator a little bit, like you channeled something there.
That was very stupid. Okay.
Okay, you know what? You can do a bad guy. I don't know. I'm excited to see that though.
My ultimate role goal is to be a Bond villain. I just love the bad guy.
Oh my God. I could see it. Oh my God. You could do a James Bond. I feel like you could. Why not?
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be really cool.
Bond is cool, but the villains are cooler. You don't want to say, well, I tell people, most people want to say Bond, James Bond. I want to say Bond, kill Bond. Just.
Oh, no, I love that. You totally got. Oh my God. That is so awesome, Aaron. Thank you so much for coming on. It's honestly such an honor because your work is incredible. I think you know that though, so you don't need to be told that. It's insanely amazing. I'm so excited to see you get bitten as a vampire zombie, whatever. That's gonna be really cool.
Vampires on a boat. Yeah.
Okay.
And the Lincoln.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Lillee Jean. I had a great time.
You too.